Rule of acquisition 112. Never have sex with the boss's sister.
Broadcasting through the depths of outer space.
Damn you all to hell!
Indeed.
It's the Solar Sci-Fi Podcast. This is episode 57 of the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. I think Martin was supposed to do the introduction, so I'm sorry, Martin. I guess you lost out this week. But Martin, next week you will introduce, and then maybe Tom, if you'd like to take the reins for the week after.
No, Tom could introduce next week. I'll have a week off because I'll be in the Bahamas.
All right, okay. No pressure, Tom. Next week you're introducing the podcast. How are you guys doing?
Oh, man.
I'm doing very well. We're not allowed out anymore. Jay, we're all stuck in. We can't even go out and speak to people now. It's,
lockdown 3.
This is it, yeah.
I know, it's pretty bad. When did lockdown 3, was it on last week when we recorded the show? I can't remember now. When did it come into force? No, it must have done. Whatever, it's all crud over here. I mean, people aren't supposed to go out. I go out for a walk. And it's just a shite time of year. But I mean, I hate January anyway. I'm not a big fan of winter.
Yeah, it's a dead month.
You can't do anything, and people are normally skint after Christmas anyway. But we didn't have a Christmas this year because we couldn't go anywhere.
No, it's cancelled.
Yeah, Christmas was cancelled, and even Father Christmas had to wear a mask when he was delivering his presents on Christmas Eve and stuff. So, not been the best Christmases ever. But
a quick question then: if Father Christmas caught it, what about all the poor elves and stuff?
Well, the thing is also, don't forget that they've just discovered that the virus can now transmit to apes. So, not just... his reindeer could have got it, maybe. Rudolph might have got it, I don't know.
Rudolph.
I didn't see anything in the news, so maybe he's okay. Maybe he is...
Well, you've destroyed Christmas
No,
for me.
it could be asymptomatic. Maybe he's all right.
Yeah, I think you have destroyed Christmas, Michael.
Yes, you have, Michael. Yes, Michael.
No pressure.
Michael, the man that killed Christmas.
Christmas. That sounds like a YouTube video if ever anybody made one. Not on my channel. I'm not going to put that on there, definitely. All right, so so that's basically what's been going on my end. Anything you want to report from the States, Tom? Anything you want to share with us before we go into our news?
There's nothing going on in America right now. Nothing.
It's really quiet. It's really.
It's pretty quiet.
Yeah, you can hear like the cockroaches, like it's like a nighttime thing. It's just silent. There's nothing over there. Really boring week.
I just prefer to be judged by my friends in the UK silently,
Yeah.
Because we're clearly not doing it. We're not doing anything exceptionally well here right now, so it's it is a little tough.
I think it's with all seriousness, it's just a tough time, and for everybody, in respect of all these different things. We've got Brexit over here, COVID, you've got re-elections, you've got the fallout from Black Lives Matter last year, which was awful. And it's not a good time, but we're not going to focus on that. We're a happy podcast, but we will say in all seriousness that we all hope that whoever's listening, subscribe, whatever, we all hope you're okay and stay safe and obey the rules. On that note, I think we should go into the news of the week. Here we go.
Working.
Solar Sci-Fi
News.
Oh God, I forgot. I ain't got any news set up. Hang on.
Well, okay, but let me start off this week.
Just talk away and I'll find the news. I'll find the news.
Apparently,
I've got it all on the page.
That's fine. Apparently, Richard Ayoade. How do you pronounce his surname? The guy from the IT. Richard Ayoade. I can't pronounce his surname. He's got a weird pronunciation.
Ayoade.
Yeah, Ayoade. That's it. Everybody always pronounces it right. I always misread it and sound like a complete prick. So anyway, Richard, that guy, he was apparently there was some newspaper article about this where they voted for who they'd like to see as the next Doctor Who, because I think even last week we thought that Jodie Whittaker was going, but it turns out that rumour was false. And Richard, what's his surname again? Tom?
Ayoade.
That's it, Richard, that one, who I'm a big fan of, but I can't pronounce his surname. He is one of the most favoured people to take over the role if Jodie were to leave. I personally think he would be a fantastic choice. I love the IT Crowd. I know Tom's a fan as well. He's a very eccentric kind of guy in real life, which I think a lot of actors in Doctor Who have been in some way, especially people like Tom Baker and people like that. Would you both like to see Richard as the next Doctor, if and when it were to happen? Tom first. What do you think, Tom?
I think he would be. I think he'd be good, but I think what the fans want, out of a Doctor Who might be different than ultimately what is the best thing to do. He is a strange, unusual performer.
Yeah.
I think he's more like he represents what like Doctor Who fans, like who they imagine, they would want to see as a sort of almost stunt Doctor Who,
right?
Then like it might be the real best actor for the thing. He's a very unusual performer.
Yeah.
And I think he is like unbelievably great as a personality. Like when he's like on, I've just watched clip after clip of him on shows like chat shows and things like that, where he's just hilarious and brilliant. But his range as an actor, I don't know.
It's possible.
I love him as a guy, but his range of an actor, I'm not sure of. I haven't quite seen that.
I can appreciate that, because I mean he's been in a comedic role like the IT Crowd, but whether he does heavy drama, which of course sometimes Doctor Who does require, whether he'd pull that off, that is a fair enough point actually. Yeah, it might not be quite his thing. So I don't know.
It's great. There's actually he does a voice in The Mandalorian.
I know, he does the robot, which was really funny when he came along. I was aware it was him because he's got a very distinctive voice, and he even came back for a second episode as well, which is cool.
Yeah, because I'm not sure he's. They did too much to augment his voice because he has this almost like a droid-like voice.
Yeah, they added some flanger on it. Yeah, I know about sound effects. That was a bit of a flanger they put on it. I've made Marty sound like a robot before, and it was really funny when I do it with him. So it's quite fun. So yeah.
To be honest, I would be somebody cheering from the rafters if he was the new Doctor Who.
Me too.
But I'm a little concerned about his emotional range as an actor.
Yeah, we don't know much about. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. I think it's kind of like, you might be popular in some ways, but you've got to, as you say, you've got to have more of a dynamic in order to fill all the tick all the boxes in that particular role. So yeah, I can understand that. How about you, Martin? What do you think?
I'd like Benny from Crossroads to be the next Doctor.
Is he still? Okay, Tom won't know who Benny from Crossroads is.
No, Tom doesn't want to know who Benny from Crossroads is.
Is he still alive, the actor who
Yeah, he's still going. No, it's on a serious note. I've just given up with Doctor Who, the disaster it's been. But Richard, the good thing about Richard Ayoade, he's well known in America.
Yes,
and he has been in a few big sort of movies.
Is the IT Crowd big in America? Because obviously Tom knows about it, or is it? Do you just happen to come across it, Tom?
It is kind of. I wouldn't say it's huge. It's got a devoted fan base.
It's got a cult following or something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mostly a cult following.
Right.
But it and to be honest, the IT Crowd has not, as a sitcom, aged exceptionally well. This is one of the.
I like older sitcoms. I mean, I'm a big collector of sitcoms. I've got a lot of American sitcoms. I mean, I'm the only guy in America who's ever watched Sanford and Son. Now, in the UK, Sanford and Son never came about.
Is that the guy who owns a junk shop?
Yeah, but we have got.
I've seen that.
A few, but most people I've talked to have never heard of it because
I've seen that.
Where did you see it? I mean, I've managed to find it online, but it's not well known.
Years ago.
I love Sanford and Son.
It were based on Archie Bunker. It was something like that. He's that miserable getter owns that shop.
Well, no, I mean,
he's got a right scruffy house.
Yeah, but it's a spin-off.
Red Fox is called the actor.
Yeah, Red Fox. He's funny. I like Red Fox.
Yeah.
I've heard some of his stand-up. It's really funny. But of course, Sanford and Son was the spin-off American version of Steptoe and Son. And of course, Steptoe and Son is really big over here. But Sanford and Son, I'd never even heard of until a few years back. But I managed to watch most of them, and it's really funny. It's really good. So I don't know how we got on this tangent of sitcoms, but
my choice for Doctor Who, if it's not Richard Ayoade, it looks like it could be Chris Marshall actually.
Chris Marshall. Who's that then?
Chris Marshall, he became a big star.
What's
He
he
was
been
on
in?
the sitcom with him that played Citizen Smith.
Oh, I didn't really see that.
Where he's a dentist.
Oh, I'll have to look him up.
No, do you remember that where he was a Zoe Wanamaker with his wife?
I never really
Um,
watched that.
Right, well, the
Smith.
son in that, he did this international series, but he plays a police officer in the Caribbean.
Right, I'm just looking at now. Chris
And
Marshall.
he's a bit of a wacky actor, but it's looking like he was up for it before her, actually.
Well, I mean.
So I don't know, he's back on the books again.
Oh
but
yeah. I've seen him now. I've got a picture of him. Yeah, Chris Marshall. Yeah, I've seen him talked about
Yes.
before. But I wonder whether they would actually go for a Caucasian male again, or whether they would either seek another female doctor or a actor of an ethnic minority. You know, it's quite.
I'd like to see Sean Pertwee, personally.
Well, yeah, but then isn't Peter Capaldi a bit like John Pertwee's era? Because although he's different, there are some parallels between the third and the
Yes, there is.
12th Doctors.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah.
whether they'll go again after the 13th with the 14th being a bit like the 12th and the 3rd, I don't know.
Well, Chibnall's still in charge. You know. It's
Well,
just gonna be
I like the Christmas special. I thought it was okay. I've seen some footage of they're filming at the moment in Wales a new Weeping Angels.
The Angels.
Yeah, they're coming back, and so are the Sontarans. So some classic. It looks like after the first season with Chibnall, where there was no classic Doctor Who characters, they're all coming back. Loads came back last season with the Master, the Cybermen, and now the Daleks, and now we're going to have the Sontarans back, the Weeping Angels. So I think that in some ways that's conceding that fans want to see. Although they should do new things as well, but I think Chibnall went a bit too much with every single episode was unfamiliar new species and new baddies and things like that. So that's the Doctor Who side. Now, of course, I want to talk about the last episode of. I'm dreading Martin's reply to this one. The last episode of Star Trek Discovery Season 3. Martin, let's ask you what you thought about that. He's banging his head against the desk. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm worried. Maybe I should have asked Tom first. Go on, Martin.
No, I gotta hear it. I would have deferred to. I would have deferred to kick off to Martin.
Thank you very much.
No pressure.
I'm not gonna swear. I'm gonna be nice about it because you know it was. Well, I got a text message of a couple of people I knew watched it, and they all had one word for it, which I'm not going to repeat what they said.
Right.
And I totally agree with them. It was terrible. I'm sorry. And Paul Sarro gets stuffed over at the end.
Okay.
You know, the storyline and the excuse for the burn, all of it, it was just a waste of time.
All right.
But I am going to watch season 4 because I've now changed it from my third season stand. Enterprise was crap in season 3 with the Xindi War.
I like the Xindi War,
But when we got season 4, it was a masterpiece. So just maybe, I'm just on a little slight note that Discovery might get its legs in season 4, and but that's very doubtful.
All right. Well, let me go next, and then I'll ask Tom at the end. I will say, I actually thought it was all right. I think that there was a lot of problems with it, but I liked the fact that I don't know. I kind of like the idea that it was just some strange kind of Kelpian child who had this weird situation where it was a weird setup, but I kind of like the fact that it was all explained. A lot of people thought there was going to be some twist, which in many ways I was expecting, but it was really what we just had discovered in 2 episodes before, that this Kelpian, because he was left alone and he was with this interactive holographic ship, which was near the Dilithium planet, that his emotions erupted and caused the burn. It is a strange setup. It's a weird one, but I thought the guy that played the Kelpian was good. I wasn't so mad on the Orion, the Emerald Chain situation. That was a bit of it was all right. I will say this about the Discovery season 3. Most of it was overshadowed with episode of The Mandalorian the night before. So
yes, it was.
and I would say in its defence, you shouldn't be judging one off the other, but I did. And I really wish that they'd been like 6 months apart or something, because I probably would have been less negative.
Can I just interject? Well, I know where they were trying to go with this. What they were trying to do. There's something I read through the week that they said the burn. I think a lot of people were expecting it to be some kind of enemy hidden the way it did it.
Yeah, some hidden force. Yes.
And I did like the concept that it was something totally different than that.
That's what I'm saying.
And I was sort of quite impressed. At the first, I thought, oh, well, it's not an enemy. And then they just messed it up. They just screwed it up. But Star Trek is about what's different, about what's unique and unusual. And I could have gone with the burn being created through other means. And in some ways, I think a lot of people want it to be some like evil enemy hidden in the nebula. And they'd done it on purpose.
Yeah, but maybe it's good that they did it more rather than that predictable being a big kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, there are other aspects I liked. I mean, there was an episode of Deep Space Nine where the Esri Dax had this way of interacting with her, a representation of Duran Dax, and we saw him even.
Yes, in the episode.
But nobody else could see him apart from her. And of course, they brought that up with the Grey character, with is it Adria, and I thought that was quite good as well. And I like the fact that you could see Grey, that the computer in the holodeck recognised that as a separate entity. I thought that was very good. I like that. Clever.
They did something similar in Voyager with the Vidian, didn't they?
Oh yes, it did. The Vidian, when the girl that was, and they made her look like she was. Yeah, they made her look like pre-disease. That was I thought that was very.
That technology would work.
That was very Star Trek. That whole thing was very Star Trek.
Yeah, definitely agree.
So I think it's a mixed bag. Go on, Tom.
What I would say is that I was glad of one thing. So how many times, like the whole arc of the second season was about that the Red Angel, or whatever that was.
Yeah.
It turned out it was Burnham and her mother.
Yes.
I was really scared. Like we would get like some, close up of Burnham, and all of a sudden she turns to the camera and she goes, "Oh no, he caused the burn." Something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
I was
just
just like, please don't do that.
No.
Please don't make this crew the center of every darn thing in the universe. So I was really glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
What I liked the idea that child's environment was so well realized, and everything about it was kind of interesting and new. And I did not expect that when they beamed into it that would happen at all.
No.
That was a nice twist and a surprise.
That was very clever. Like they physically looked differently.
It was.
I like that, and I like the fact that parts of it were glitching because it'd been going for 100 years and it was falling. And there was some good elements about that.
But it never explained what that evil thing was, did it? It never explained what that was.
Wasn't that a representation of fear? Wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, but it's a bloody holodeck.
Yeah, but the holodeck's supposed to be giving an environment for, and the thing is though that sometimes negative things in your life are also part of, you can't have everything in life absolutely perfect, because then you won't realise.
So you're saying that his mother, she programmed that thing in there?
No, I think it evolved. I think the program evolved due to interaction with the Kelpian over 100 years. It's not static. It would learn about what. Yeah,
that's a good point.
I personally think that it wouldn't have done that 100 years before, but it'd been going for 100 years. It was glitching. There were some aspects which were going wrong, and through time and interaction, it caused this entity, which was representation of fear. That's the way I see it, but I don't know what you two think.
Yeah, because you've got to think 32nd century now, haven't you?
You think that? Remember the episode of Voyager there's an episode of Voyager where some of them end up in an environment, and there's a clown, and it's Michael McKean is it?
Fantastic.
Michael McKean is the clown, the fear, and basically. They were frightened of this situation. They were being protected for 20 years, and this fear created by themselves. So I could see a parallel between that and this episode.
One of the best episodes of Voyager.
I love that episode, and it's got really good music.
How she defeated that was genius.
It goes dark. We're going to do we'll talk about Voyager as well. We already have, but yeah, that was a great episode as well. So, a really good episode, I think. But go back to Discovery. It's a mixed bag. I would probably rate this episode between 7.5 and 8 out of 10. Okay, that might be high for Martin, but that's fair enough. Okay, Tom, what do you think out of 10? Sorry, Martin.
I think it was a 7.
Okay, so similar to me.
The whole arc of everything, I think, was a 7. I think that the Emerald Chain stuff, I thought, was maybe a little off.
That was one of the that was negative things.
I began to really like Osira a lot. And everything that she kind of did, because she was partially evil, but also had ideas.
She wasn't. Yeah, she was a mixed bag, and they killed her off.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
Yeah, but you're going into the thing of like. It's like saying about a Cardassian, they don't see themselves as evil. They're doing what they believe right. That's what she was doing. She believed she was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, she might appear evil to
and Orions are normally dodgy, aren't they? Orions normally have sort of...
why didn't she have a bikini on?
Yeah, there was none of that, no bikini.
Well, that's what I mean.
My question is... I was going to say,
in the 70s, if this was back in the 60s and she showed up with the peace proposal, she would have been in a bikini, and they would have had the proposal. They would have worked it out.
Yeah, and Enterprise as well with them 3 on.
Yeah, that's right. We never saw any green Orions in 24th Century though, did we? We only saw them in Enterprise. Original series.
They were too nice then. It were all nice and.
We had in the 24th century. You had the Orion Syndicate, but they were never looked green.
Yes,
for some reason.
Yeah.
So I don't know why.
Yeah.
Go on, Tom.
I thought it was a kind of weird story choice when she showed up and offered this grand peace proposal, and the guy, the admiral, basically instead of diffusing the situation and rescuing his people, he kind of decides, like, right on the spot to say, no, you have to go on trial for your crimes. I was a little stupid. I mean, if you're thinking about how these things work, your own Brexit's taken, it's taken like 5 years. It's not like somebody showed up in Brussels and said, "We're out of here." And
you got to go through
it was a process, and I felt that was really strange.
Yeah, I agree. It was a bit weird.
That they could have just said, "Yeah, we'll think about it." The first thing to do is to give the Discovery back, and then we'll talk. But he kind of just loved that whole thing. I thought that was sort of stupid.
Well, maybe he just didn't take her seriously from the start, which is why he acted like that. And he also had that.
I don't know.
You might be right. I don't know. I mean,
she showed up.
I think
700-page plan.
Yeah. It was a bit of a strange one. Yeah, that was a bit weird, that writing there.
You see, the problem is, I watched a guy that did a thing on YouTube about Voyager, Rowan, I forgot his name, he's really good. He said that, and I've said this before, that I don't want this to become Andromeda.
Yes. I've heard there's some parallels with that.
It worries me.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at an article by Screen Rant. Discovery will make Michael Burnham the next new Kirk.
Well, let's go on to that. What do you think about her becoming the captain at the end?
Saru.
A mile away,
Yeah.
I did see it coming. I'm like, she's going to become the captain, even though she screwed up horribly all year.
Yeah. All 3 years, really, all 3 seasons. But yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't mind it. I like the fact that they've finally got the new uniforms, which I thought was applicable.
I like the new uniforms.
I do. I think they're okay. I mean, they're definitely better than those. But I don't know. It makes sense. I think some people would like the interior of Discovery to be a bit brighter and look a bit more, because it's quite, everything else has changed on the exterior, stuff like that.
There is something that a lot of people have been complaining about.
What's that?
Well, how big is it?
I know, the turbo lifts with the...
come on.
It looked like it was inside a Borg ship, didn't it? It looked so big when it was flying around.
It was like you could have put the Empire State Building in there.
Yeah, it looked like a whole planet. It was like a TARDIS in there.
Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to engineering, right, in a crisis, right now, just picture this, right? We're being attacked by Orion Syndicate, right, in 32nd century, and I say to you, get yourself down there and fix the warp core, right? Right. So you've got to go in the turbo lift, with no corridors or conduits or anything, right? Jefferies tubes. And you go flying across 5,000 miles of space, right? And thousands of miles down deep to get to a platform in the middle of nowhere to get to engineering. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was the
You
dark. I
can't
think that was
defend
that was
You-
the worst bit of the whole episode was the turbo lift scene.
But it is the 32nd
That was.
century, isn't it?
I think that was.
We're not thinking 32nd century.
Well, they didn't need to. We've seen the inside of Turbolist. We saw it in Star Trek V. We saw it in Next Generation. We've seen it in Voyager. It is just a tunnel. It's just a tube. And it obviously.
Yes, well, then you
it's-
tell me what that was.
Well, I don't know why they've done that. I can't defend that in any way, shape, or form. I think it was
Tom,
ridiculous.
can you defend that in any way?
I couldn't explain it because it just physically made no sense.
No, it was really daft.
It was like, what? Because it was all this, it was like a grand, humongous amount of open space.
Yeah.
Well, you could have
Think
fit the
about
planet Earth in there. You know.
it almost reminded me of the end of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the film where they go and they suddenly, you know, it was super expensive. But the whole arc of Burnham in the last 2 episodes was basically Die Hard.
Oh, I know. Everybody
yeah,
said that.
yeah,
Yeah, it was very
yeah,
Die
yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. It was very much too much based on action adventure. I took the focus away from Star Trek. Like Saru and
It had the two
other
philosophies.
crew members.
It had to.
They
I
were-
mean,
they
it was,
were doing the real Star Trek stuff.
and then the other. It was half and half. Yeah, it was half and half. The
Yeah.
traditional
I
Trek
mean-
and then Die Hard.
There was that
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
where they planted that bomb and Tilly said, "We love you."
Yeah.
Oh, come on. And Tilly were absolutely useless as the commander.
Yeah, but she
of the
shouldn't have
ship.
got the chance in the first place. She's an ensign.
Well, yes. Well, but it is
It's
the
like Wesley. It's like
32nd
Wesley Crusher.
century.
Yeah, it's Wesley Crusher. Imagine what he'd been like if he'd have taken control of the Enterprise during the Borg, like Walk 359 or something. He would have cocked that
Oh,
up, wouldn't
mate,
he?
I'd have been shitting myself.
All right, so round up. So to round up, Martin, out of 10,
Yeah.
what would you give this episode?
Because you've slightly changed my mind, you've made me laugh about it. I'm going to be sort of generous. I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay. I was expecting you to say about
Yeah.
3 or 4, so that's fine. So yeah, so I think that in
That's
the end.
because you both changed my mind slightly, so I'm going to give it a 5, yeah.
Okay, so what would
Yeah.
you have given it previous to this conversation?
3.
Okay, there we go. So I'm
Damn.
I'm
I don't
quite.
want Martin ever to read my book.
Oh God, tough call.
Damn.
Well, Tom, have you ever seen? The thing is, it's down to individual. Have you ever seen Halloween 3: Season of the Witch?
Oh my God! Back in like 1986 or something.
Yeah, it was the one with the sort of masks and the TV screens, and we had this big sort of conversation about Martin saying it was the worst film I've ever seen, and he's come round a bit now. He said it's a bit better now since he's.
Yeah, because I got bullied by certain friends of mine which watched it and thought, this is rather good. And I could not believe what they were said. They said it suited Sunday night about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it just fitted that time frame. And they were all quite happy with it.
Yeah.
So I got outnumbered.
Well, I saw it in the 80s or early 90s, so that's probably. I mean, this will fit into our new topic now. We're going to do this called the Solo One Challenge of the Week, which is going to be interesting, where we're going to have a film each week to try and see what we think of it, which is we're going back to Megaforce. So we're going to go to that in a while, and I'm going to tell you what I think about that. But before we talk about that, and of course our focus of the week, is there anything other news that you two have got
one
for
more
me?
thing.
What's that?
It's some UFO news.
Oh, not the blue sausage thing that you told me about. is
No,
it?
not the blue sausage thing.
It looked like a blue sausage. Go on.
No, it's not the blue sausage thing, right?
What is it then?
Right. I'm
Is
trying
this
to.
the first thing
We're meant
that's
to
reading
be
that?
serious here. This is meant to be.
Sorry. I will not say a word until you've given your piece. My lips are
The
sealed.
radio burst that was picked up from the Proxima star system next door to us.
Right.
It's started transmitting again.
Oh, okay.
A mysterious radio burst from space is back right on schedule.
Wow.
Roughly every 160 days, it starts all over again.
Yeah, you mentioned this before a while back.
Well,
about this.
it's happened again.
So this is more of an indication of some sort of artificial intelligence. Is that what you're saying? Alien intelligence.
Well, it could be. I'm not saying what it is, but it's definitely not a blue sausage thing.
You're the one that posted it on Facebook.
Well, all right.
But it was quite creepy, but it did look like a blue sausage. I don't know if you saw
Right.
this, Tom, but it was somewhere in America. It was filmed, wasn't it? Somebody filmed it.
Yeah.
Can you give any more information
Well,
about
we
this
filmed
thing?
a lot of weird things in America.
Oh, we see it over here as well.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I have heard. I did hear the radio burst, which every 100 or so days makes me think it might definitely. It sounds related to everything in the universe spins, so it sounds related
Yeah.
to something rotational, like like every time a planet goes around.
then
a
when
star,
that would probably
something
be-
does something.
But that's consistent, so that might not be artificial intelligence. It might be due to, like, as you say, a rotation of something, which at some point
Yeah.
causes this burst. That's the way
Yes.
I see it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's why I'm not saying what it is, but it's not a blue sausage.
okay, well, I think we should move on from the blue sausage
Yes.
thing. Okay, guys, thank you
Let's
for the
move.
news. That's brilliant.
I got
Right.
one- I got
Oh,
one
go
more
on.
piece of news.
Sorry, Tom.
No,
Go
go
for
on,
it.
Tom,
Please
go on.
do.
I am very, very much looking forward to WandaVision.
Oh, yes, on
That
Friday. I
looks
can't wait.
totally-
I'm not
totally
into the
bonkers.
Marvel thing, but even I look into this, and this looks really quite interesting. I will try it. I will definitely
Yeah.
try it. So
give it a shot. It
yeah, I
just
will.
looks
I will
so
give it a shot.
Strange.
Yeah,
and-
it
and
looks really
different.
Yes.
It's it's a risky performance, and I love those actors. One of
Yes.
them used to be my neighbor, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
you
so-
mentioned that. You mentioned that. Yeah.
Paul Bettany used to live like a couple doors down from me in Park Slope when I
Wow.
lived in Brooklyn, New York, and I'd see him a lot.
Brilliant.
Just kind of walking around.
Okay,
Like him
cool.
and we didn't get coffee together or anything like that.
No, but you
I'd
knew of
see
him, and you actually see him, which is really cool. Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah, he had a restraining order against me, got me arrested.
But apart
the
from
blue
that, it was
sausage
fine.
as well.
Yeah. Apart from that, you were buzzy.
I had to, it was related to the blue sausage, so
Oh,
I completely
God.
get it.
We're gonna have to put that on the Twitter feed. #blue sausage, I think.
By the gods
Oh,
of
it's-
science fiction.
Hey, I'm going to be saying that when I do this review of Megaforce in a minute. Right, let's go into, not that yet, let's go into our focus of the week, and it's
Yes,
Star Trek related again. So here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi.
focus of the week.
All right, so this is a series that started in 1993. It was a spin-off from a little-known Star Trek series called The Next Generation. And it was, of course, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Let's ask Tom, first of all, what did you think about it before we go into a big synopsis and all about it? What did you think about it from first impressions?
Star Trek Deep Space Nine means a lot to me. It honestly does, because that was the series that got me into writing science fiction.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
Yeah. Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Voyager and The Next Generation. I don't know about the subsequent series, but they had an open screenplay or play submission process where you could submit a screenplay. So it just so happened that in my my college last year of school, I took a screenwriting class and wrote a Deep Space Nine screenplay because I thought, hey, I could actually submit this to the producers.
Yeah.
And so, I liked the show. And then when I kind of started that, I was like, I really sort of fell in love with the idea of the conflict and the characters and, how they interacted with one another and the things they did. And the world building and universe that were put together. So that's why I love it so much. But I love the idea that it was sort of different than the other series, and that things that happened.
But it was in the same universe, wasn't it? That's what was so clever about it. You had a lot of familiar races and stuff from Next Generation, but it was a whole different take.
I felt it was more continuity than the other series. Like, I know that it still was episodic, but it kind of breathed a longer arc.
It got more arcs as it went along. It was more standalone in earlier seasons, and by the third season, when the Dominion started getting involved, it became more. It got more and more arcs, but it was a very clever mix of both. And just to say, before I forget, that the open submission policies were stopped when Enterprise started because they were worried that people would get sued if they weren't using it. There were some financial worries about why so they did stop that. So luckily they did that in Next Gen, DS9 and Voyager, but it was stopped because I read about that after we spoke the other time. So Martin, what do you think about it?
the greatest Star Trek series ever made.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with that. I think it is
Yeah.
my favourite out of all the Star Trek series and films
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It was it was a static place within the universe where all these cultures came to this station, and the characters were beautifully. Every character had an
So
amazing
well written.
story arc, every one of them, and it played out beautifully over time. But what was cool about it is that you got to learn so much about these other cultures, like the Cardassian society.
And the
really went
Bajorans, yeah.
into that.
Absolutely.
And the Bajoran. I mean, I like Cardassians.
I do. I thought they were a very
society
cool race.
fascinating.
Really cool race.
And the greatest character in it was
Gold
Gareth.
Dukat. Oh yeah, I was going to say Garrett and Gold
Yeah.
Dukat. Yeah, both of them
Yeah.
really good. Garrett was amazing. I remember the first time he came on, and he just it takes a shine to Dr. Bashir, and it's before you know it, but it was just. The thing is, out of all the Star Trek series I've seen, I've never known a series where some of the recurring characters are equal, even if not even stronger than the main cast that they were in
Yes.
this series.
Yeah.
Which is unusual. There were so many, and this series must have been about 15 recurring characters that you'd see spread over the various episodes, and they'd come back, and they were all fantastic. There was not one recurring character that didn't do absolutely everything. I mean, you had Louisa Fletcher as Kai Wynn. She was fantastic. You had Vedek Baral for the Bajorans. The Bajoran side, you had Garrick, you had Gul Dukat, you had what was the other one? The other Cardassian, the one that
Damar.
Damar. Yeah, he was the other one. He was one of the three main.
There's a fantastic scene with Damar when he becomes the leader of the Cardassians under Dominion. And I watched a clip of it other day. It's where he wakes up and he's drunk all the time, looks at himself in the mirror.
He splashes the mirror. He splashes the
Yeah.
thing on the. Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah.
knew you were going to say that.
What a scene! It's just moments like that. We do Cat as well. He's rise.
Oh God! And
upwards.
Rise and Fall. I mean, both of them are quite tragic characters in many ways because
Yeah. Oh yeah.
they
the
were
Cat
they
was.
were looking for the best for not just themselves. They were also looking for the best for Cardassia, and of course the Dominion came in and they had their own way. And the Dominion. I mean, how cool were they? Having Odo's race as the changelings who ran the. I mean, when I watched that, I mean, I remember people saying. When the founders turned up, everybody said, "Oh." I remember René Auberjonois, I can't pronounce his surname. He said that when he thought that his race would show up, that'd be his last episode. And of course, it was so clever the way that he wanted to go back to the Great Link, but of course he didn't agree with their motives and everything like that. And then the Salome Jen's character, the female changeling, she was brilliant. I liked her as well. She was creepy. She was really awful.
Cold.
Wayoon as well with Jeffrey. Oh, Jeffrey Combs is such a good actor. I really like Jeffrey Combs.
Yes.
He was fantastic. And he played two roles. He also played Liquidator Brunt as well. So, and I mean, even the Ferengi, we had Rom, and of course Nog, who of course was so sad with what happened to him. I mean, from my perspective, I do think it is the best Star Trek series. I think it's one of the best examples of science fiction I've seen. A lot of people compete it against Babylon 5, which is a series we'll have to talk about in the future as well. Babylon 5 is also I have to admit, I do prefer Deep Space Nine because I'm a lifelong Star Trek fan. But I think, you know what I mean? It was influenced by Babylon 5, wasn't it?
Yes, Babylon 5 is different. Babylon 5 stands on its own, in its own place. For me.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. What do you think, Tom?
I agree. I totally agree. And I think the only reason why people compare it so much to Deep Space Nine was the time frame.
They're very
came
similar,
out,
weren't they?
Around the same time
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah,
and
early
they were
90s.
both ostensibly named after a space station.
Yep.
You know, but that really wasn't the point of, like, the space station wasn't the point of Deep Space Nine, as the same way that the Babylon 5 wasn't the point of Babylon 5. It was
the universe they're in and the circumstances of what they were doing and things like that. Absolutely.
I really take it. I take a lot of inspiration from both of those series and the kinds of things I put together. But hey, did I tell you guys that I actually got to meet with the producers of Deep Space Nine?
No, tell us all about it. What happened?
Tell us all about it, definitely.
Yeah, so that when I wrote that screenplay in college, it was like in the very beginning of mid '90s when I was able to actually do that. And once I did that, and Star Trek didn't want to buy it, I posted it online, and people just kind of freaked out about it.
Really?
And it was and all these folks, were like commenting and sending me emails all the time about it, and they loved it, and they wanted me to do more, and blah blah blah. And so a guy contacted me and asked me if they wanted to come out to Paramount to pitch to Deep Space Nine and Voyager with him.
Wow.
And so I had developed a writing partnership and went out and we met with the producers of both shows and didn't sell anything, but it was super cool.
Yeah, but say you did that. That was amazing.
Ridiculously fun time. That was so fun.
Have you got it somewhere still online for us to check it out? Is it something you still share with people, or is it something private to yourself?
Oh, I don't have the script itself,
Right.
but I have the. I think I sent it to you in chat this week. It was a take of the all about the pitch sessions and the episodes of the pitch.
Oh, I've not seen it. Sorry, I've not checked that out. I will have a look at that if you sent it already. Sorry, I apologise for that. But that's all about it. Yeah, absolutely.
It was so cool.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for that.
It was such a neat thing, and I was able to. We went out there. The guy that I went out there, he'd met. He connected with one of the stunt coordinators, and he took us onto the Deep Space Nine set. And we were
you kidding? You've not been on the set.
Wow!
Oh my God! What was it like? Is it? I mean, it's quite big, isn't it?
To the bar.
Oh, what? I don't believe that.
Did you walk down the promenade, Tom? Did you?
People think you're like the sets are going to be small, but these was a pretty big set. The promenade, they couldn't fake the width and the depth of that. So that was a good 70, 80 feet long, or even longer, and it was really neat. It was just fun to be there.
I had no idea you'd actually been on the set. That's fantastic.
That is,
oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, you got a round of applause from me.
So
if I could clap, I would, but I'm holding my phone. But that's really fantastic.
I'll clap for you.
There we go.
Thanks.
Brilliant.
Fun to see. Like I'm.
Tom,
there one day.
Tom, do you live near Brooklyn?
I live in New Jersey. And,
right, I got invited out a year ago by that James Collins.
I know what you're going to talk about here.
The Star Trek set out in Terra. What is it? Ticonderoga.
Oh, there's a Ticonderoga.
The Tycon, that's it. Yeah, there's 92,000 foot of Enterprise set, and you can go visit and walk around it.
Yeah, this is from Star Trek New Voyages Phase 2.
Yes,
I mean, I've seen.
it, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the fan films, but they are. Although the acting is a bit dodgy with one or two of the actors involved, the actual sets are fantastic.
Well, he's opened them up to the public. You can go there for the day and walk around it and that. And
I mean, James Corley, I liked him. He was like Captain Kirk. He was a mix of Captain Kirk and Elvis. It was quite a strange mix, but there were some really good Star Trek episodes in that. I mean, I consider the second best fan series after Continues. I think Continues is I consider that as canon Star Trek, quite frankly, because it links in between the end of season 3 of TOS to the motion picture. And if you've not seen them, they are very, very high production standards, very, very good characterizations, and it's a 10 out of 10. We'll have to do a show on that one as well at some point. Have you seen any of those, Tom?
I have not seen those.
I strongly. They're all on YouTube, and most fan films, when you watch them, they do look pretty cheesy and quite tacky.
Yes.
But like Axanar was another very, very good production. This is also Continues is a very good production as well. So if ever you have some time just to sit there, they're all on there. Check it out, because I honestly think that if you're a Star Trek fan, you will enjoy them. They're very good standards.
Can I tell you guys one more story about
Go for it, please.
About the Paramount.
Go for it.
So we were waiting around between, after we'd done our thing, or before, I don't remember what before or after, and they were actually filming Star Trek on a stage, not on the set, not on the Deep Space Nine set, but it was a different set, and there's all these guys dressed as Jem'Hadar. Remember the Jem'Hadar?
Oh, wow.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Like
oh, my
4
God.
or 5 guys dressed like Jem'Hadar, just like standing around.
Oh,
and you used to expect them that that they'd be chopping someone's heads off, but they're just actors like hanging out in suits, and they're just like standing there, blah blah blah. And we introduce ourselves, and we say, "Hi, And
Oh.
this is the best freaking story. It turns out that the guys were in a barbershop quartet of sorts.
All right.
And so these 4 or 5 Jem'Hadar sitting here, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to hear a song?" And they're like, oh, blah blah blah, and then they start doing this barbershop quartet song that they had perfected, and I guess they practiced when they weren't doing. But they're like dressed up in the suits. And it was really funny. And it was like funny because they it was hard for them to talk a little bit, so it was just hilarious the way that they were doing it. If this was today,
You would have
that
got
be,
your phone out and filmed it or something. You
Yeah.
would have filmed it. Oh,
yeah,
that's fantastic.
But it was so cool. It was such a fun day.
Yeah.
You know, when I
sounds
look at Jem'Hadar from now on, when I'm watching DS9, I'm just going to think of them as being a barbershop quartet now.
Yeah, that's
Probably
brilliant.
That's for the best.
Well, of course, they did the quartet with the What You Leave Behind, the actual special fan
Well,
not
they did.
fan film, the documentary.
Yeah.
Did you see
Yeah.
the documentary, Tom?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it is really good.
You
It's
should-
only made
yeah.
last year, and it was actually, I think it was filmed quite soon before Aaron Eisenberg died, and it's very emotional because it's just a celebration. They even did some remastered some of the footage with HD for some of the scene. I mean, Martin, tell Tom what you thought about it, because we both loved it, didn't we?
It's Berman and the team. This
Rick Berman,
documentary, Tom, it's very powerful emotionally, and they actually create season 8 within the documentary, and when they put it together, it's like they're in a writing room.
They go back
and
to the
then-
writing, and they actually pretend that this is the first episode of season 8, and this is what they would have done. And they came with an idea with Nog as a captain. It was set years later, and it was really, as a Deep Space Nine, you have to see it. I promise you'll love it.
It's a beautiful way to finish it off.
Really was really heartwarming. It's about an hour long. It's really, and they're going to do a new one apparently for Voyager as well. The same team, but I mean, got most of the actors are interviewed in it, but it's not just. It's got a lot of comedy. There's even a musical routine with Jeffrey Combs and some of the others, and they start singing. It's really, really good. I was so blown away by it. It really is.
They, I didn't go. Was it last year? I didn't go. I went to the one the year before. But the Star Trek thing in Birmingham.
I went to that one.
They got together. I think was it last year, or year before? They got together and came out in suits and started singing and that.
Yeah, because I went to the one in Birmingham as well. I talked to Denise Crosby. I talked to Malcolm Reed, Dominic Keating, who's just like Dominic Keating, the actor, is just like his character. It's just like that.
Wow.
But it's really strange when you actually, because we hadn't planned to go. We just had to be in Birmingham that weekend for something else, and myself and my daughter, we went, and we had a wonderful time. It was really good. But it's it's very nerve-wracking when you talk to these stars from these shows you've been watching. I don't think there was anybody from Deep Space Nine, but I saw Brent Spiner, LeVar Burton, Dominic Keating, a few others. Anson Mount from Discovery was on there as Pike. He was good. He was doing, but it really was. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really a person who's done a lot of conventions and stuff, but I went to my first one in 2000. Actually, not last year, the year before. Now it was fantastic. So absolutely brilliant. Deep Space Nine, a really fantastic series. Any other comments you want to say about this? Any other perks? Any favourite episodes from you two?
I just think for character development and everybody, like you said earlier about where a small character suddenly they become this big character.
Yeah.
I know Sisko's the main character in it, but everybody gets equal billing, and that is what's beautiful about it. Even the baddies. Well, other baddies, because they don't see themselves as being baddies. The Dominion.
No, they've just got their own.
In order, don't they? You know, it's.
Yeah.
They just want order.
I
They
love
just
that.
want order in the galaxy. Is what the Dominion want. That's what they
And
want.
the Cardassians live by the state. And,
Yeah, they do, and they just.
know.
I just loved everything. It was so much fun for me to actually play in that universe and develop stories and things like that.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the stories that I loved a lot, but they shot me down when I pitched it was I wanted to bring Scotty back. Remember, Scotty was stuck in the.
He was stuck in the transporter, wasn't he?
I brought him back as as some kind of a lost soul, and he ends up on Deep Space Nine because he was friends with with Curzon Dax, which was the Dax before Jadzia.
Oh, okay, yeah,
They reconnected with one another, and it turns out that he was frustrated with the Federation, was trying to join the Maquis.
Of course,
and that was a really neat story.
Dax knew McCoy, so I think the host was Emily, if I remember, and Emily had a relationship with McCoy, so maybe at that point that's how Scotty knows of Dax, even though it's a different host. Yeah, that could have been cool.
I like the episode when the three Klingons went after the white-haired Klingon.
Oh, Kang, Koloth, and Kor.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was.
All the original actors, all the original actors were back. That was really good.
Minor characters got one episode in the 60s, and they put them together in that.
Yeah.
And it was marvelous.
Kor came back.
Marvelous.
Kor came back twice more. He was in it 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And John Colicos from Battlestar Galactica was really good in that. And look at, some of the other characters like Nog, and as just a boy in the bar in season 1. By the end, he was his last scene was he was a lieutenant in Starfleet, and he'd just been promoted, and he was a war hero. That's why Aaron Eisenberg was so proud of the role, because he started off as only a little bit more than an extra, and by the end of it, he was a fully fledged character. In the episode with Vic Fontaine, when he's recovering from losing his leg, brilliant stuff. Vic Fontaine was brilliant. I remember the actor Time Tunnel, so it was great to see him as.
Do you remember when he said to Odo and Kira, when he said you two haven't figured it out yet? I remember.
Yeah.
Because they were madly in love with her, weren't they, Odo?
Absolutely, yeah.
And he just knew, didn't he?
No, I know. Well, look, I think we should wrap this up now. But brilliant series. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think that it's certainly one of the best sci-fi series. Probably I don't know if I've got a favourite, but it's right up there. But absolutely, I'm really glad that we've all enjoyed it, and hopefully there'll be some continuation. Maybe Dax could appear on Discovery at some point. I don't know whether she will. I think that her age will be too old even from that period, but whatever. It's a classic. We all love it, and I think that it's really been a good one. I think what we'll do now is we're going to finish off, because we're going to wrap up things quite soon, another 5 minutes, and then we're going to start to move on. We're going to do the new topic that Martin has given me, which is the Solar One Sci-Fi Challenge. So it's the challenge of the week. And I'm going to hit this jingle, and then we're going to talk about this film. Here we go.
It's the Solar One Challenge of the Week.
Right then, so Martin and I talked about cheesy films that neither of us has seen, and I've got a film for him to watch next week, and he's got a film for me to recommend. He recommended the film Megaforce from 1982, and Tom has already referred to these orange bike things. So I wrote down some points as I watched this the other day, and I wasn't a bit impressed. First of all, I put cheesy audio opening theme tune sounds like something from Terrorhawks. Then I put soldiers ? Then it looked like a power station was destroyed. And then I said Devon from Knight Rider, actor on this, plus Ilea, actress from Star Trek the Motion Picture, but she's got hair. Then there was a hologram in the desert or something. Then I put cheeses on bikes. I wrote that. Then I said missiles wheelies, because the bikes are doing wheelies. Big facility. Then it said, I'll just put these points down, then we'll talk about it a bit more thoroughly. Then I put mission to kill a bad guy, and then a parachute jump, bad background special effects, and then I put something not going. Oh yes, Ilea, actress not going on a mission, potential love interest. Then I put another parachute jump, tanks at night, Arabic destruction, bad guy is friends with the hero because they seem to be friends for some reason. Then I wrote muddled mess, very bored. Then 17, standoff, battle with planes and bike things. Then 18, missiles look like fireworks, because they look like fireworks when they're launching from the bikes. They did. And then bikes have coloured smoke, looks like the red arrows, like the planes. The smoke coming out the back of the bikes.
But they're doing the American flag.
Oh, were they? Was that what it was? I didn't recognise that. I don't know. Then hero gives bad guy a cigar. Late for plane. Plane leaving. Hero gets there just in time by a turbo boost bike. Hero's looking forward to a shag with Ilea. The end. That was my review. Okay, that was the point.
You just completely missed the fucking point.
I don't know. Okay, all right. You tell me.
Completely missed the
Michael,
fucking
Michael,
point.
It sounds like a caveman wrote that review, like.
Yeah, that was the worst review I've ever
That
heard.
was
I'm
no.
sorry.
What I was doing, that was not a review. I wrote down points as it was going along.
Oh, for God's
That's
sake,
what it
just
was.
drop the point things,
What?
man. I mean, you're sitting there analysing it like a psychiatrist. Just stop.
I
now,
thought you'd like a
right?
thorough,
Yeah.
appreciative.
No, the film is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
Right, we've only got 5 minutes of recording. Go on.
It had it looked kind of like if Battlestar Galactica showed up on Earth,
Oh.
and it
Yeah, I
had
like
a real life GI Joe. It
Right.
had like this weird sort of early '80s aesthetic to it that wasn't military in a sense. It was sort of like, I don't know, like they were.
Well, you see, they're a secret military organisation that defends the Earth, and they have all the highly advanced technology like flying motorbikes.
Right.
All right, they wear spandex as combat outfits. But we get past that, and the leader, Ace Hunter, is one cheesy. He looks like an 80s porn star rock singer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I can see
And
that.
he's really cheesy, and the one-liners in it are hilarious. They're a secret. They're like shields, right? Or
Yeah.
shadow, right? They're like, and they protect the Earth and keep the peace.
Hang on, let me
Megaforce are
let me just pause. Tom, the name of the film is Megaforce. Sorry, carry on. What you're saying?
And I mean, look at the scene where all bombs are going off, and he knocks on that tank, and that guy's stunned, absolutely stunned that he's banged on the tank, and he goes, "Only the good guys win in the 80s." I mean, it's enough to make you cringe, and that's the beauty of it. It's a
Yeah, I don't mind
cringe-worthy
cringy stuff.
classic.
I mean, the copy I saw, the actual mouth was slightly out of sync, which was slightly distracting anyway. They were talking about 3 seconds behind the actual vision, so that wasn't the film's fault. But I didn't click with it.
You got to, well, you didn't click with it.
I'm
but
sorry.
Would you like to watch it again, and we'll do part 2 next week?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I'm sorry. I think you're wrong. The film cost $20 million to make. It flopped badly.
It didn't look very high
They
production
planned
standards.
3 movies. The second one was going to be called Deeds Not Words, and it would have been the worst trilogy of films ever made, but it would have been marvelous, and that's the point of it. They got 20 million quid and wasted it. Them vehicles cost over £1 million, and the writing was terrible. But
Well,
there's
the writing
something
was
about
awful.
the
No,
film.
I know,
It's
but
got potential.
Yeah, Halloween 3 is the same. It's got potential. You know? I mean, maybe if I'd have seen this 25, 30 years ago, I might have thought, oh, film's absolutely
But
wonderful.
don't sit there writing bullet points.
I was trying to
remember.
remember all the things so I could refer to it. What I'll do next week, I'll write the bullet points, but I won't read them out. So then I can look at it and then I can make some notes.
I want you to read them out. I want you to read
Oh,
them.
right, okay. If that's the case, then you got because you're doing Leprechaun 4 in space next week.
Right, well,
Right?
then you get your revenge in.
Yeah.
right.
So then you got to do your bullet points as you go along the film.
Right,
It's funny.
I will. That is your challenge. That is your challenge for next week. And the week after it will be Tom's turn.
Oh, Tom. Oh, we're going to get
Yes,
Tom.
Tom.
Oh, well, look, I know we need to get
man.
wrapping up soon. So, but yeah, Tom, we'll find something for the week after next. Absolutely.
Something
So,
bad.
sorry, Tom. It comes with the comes with the show. All right, guys. Well, look,
What
Go
is
on.
your overall score for Megaforce?
I'd give it 3.5 out of 10 probably.
Right.
Sorry, maybe
so
4.
your challenge for me next week?
Leprechaun 4 in space. You got a copy of it? I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Good
I haven't seen the 3, but
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was absolute shite as well. I'm not saying there's redeeming features in Leprechaun 4 in space, but anyway, look, guys, it's time to wrap up. So thank you both for coming on the show again. It's been
Yes.
a good one. I'm not sure what we're doing next week. Do we want to do what should we do next week? Any ideas for a film, or we could do
For a topic,
which one?
for a top, I mean, we could. WandaVision's coming out. We could talk about that.
Yeah, but we normally do something we focus on. Should we do Babylon 5 next week? As we've talked. I mean, I'm not seeing it as much as you two
Yeah,
have, but
let's do
Babylon.
Babylon.
all right, we'll do Babylon 5
Yeah.
next week because it's similar to it's the rival. All right, to end this week then, I'm sorry I brought it back again. Marty's going to kill me, but it's going to have to be done. This is going to be, if I can very quickly find it, because I want to remember what it was called. Sorry, this blooper. Give me a second. All right, music. It is... All right, so, Deep Space Nine. YouTuber QCOTMS sings every single Star Trek theme tune. He makes up the lyrics. And he made one up for Deep Space Nine. I took his vocals, I mixed them up with the theme tune, I added some reverb, I added some stuff to make it sound more professional. This guy's a nutter. Sorry, Tom, you've not heard these previous shows, but he sings every song really, and the lyrics of the songs are terrible. So just to warn you.
Would he have been in Megaforce, do you think?
He might have been, I don't know. Maybe he could sing a song for the Megaforce, I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys. We will catch you next week on the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Space Nine. Deep Space Nine. Not Deep Space 8. Deep Space Nine. Come on down to the promenade, then go to Quarks and order some root beer, then try to rent a hollow suite with all of your friends on Deep Space Nine. Jadzia Dax and Dodo too. Benjamin Sisko and his son Jake. Then there's Quark, Rom and his son Nine. They're all here on Deep Space Nine. So come on down to the promenade, then go to Quarks and order some prune juice, then try to rent a hollow suite with all of your friends on Deep Space Nine.
Bring them back, Q. Now! Or what? What? You'll ravish me? Ravish, I'm sorry. I might.